For me, I was more miserable trying to make everyone else happy.
Your lack of commitment is almost an insult to the people who believe in you.
I'd say one of the strongest mental frames that has gotten me through my hardest times is thinking this will be the story that I will one day tell.
Man, most people struggle their whole life to find out who they are. Struggle their whole life to find out what defines them, what they actually enjoy and what they don't.
You start putting yourself in situations that suck, you'll find yourself.
What no one else does. Run 3 o'clock in the morning because no one else is running 3 o'clock in the morning. If they're training 3 hours, you train 4 hours. You train when the gym is closed. You know, when the gym is closed and you already train, you train again. You know, you have to do what no one else is doing. You know, when they're sleeping, you're running, you're working out.
Don't be afraid. Just go.
People won't want to hear this, but what you avoid controls you. If you avoid tough conversations, your relationships suffer. If you avoid risk, your business will suffer. If you avoid failure, your growth will suffer. If you think having uncomfortable conversations is hard, wait until you see the result of not having uncomfortable conversations. Much harder. At least for me, I just try and face the thing that I'm avoiding and constantly ask myself, like, what is that thing that I'm trying not to look at? And then force myself to stare at it, because usually the thing that scares you the most is the thing that you need most to face to move forward.
There was a kid who everyone underestimated. Too small, too quiet, too ordinary. But every day while they laughed, he worked. In the gym, in the books, in the shadows. He knew one truth. Effort beats talent when talent doesn't try. Years later, they asked him how he did it. And he just smiled, because they never saw the grind. It's the quiet hustle that makes the loudest impact. How loud do you want your success to be?
Go to a dark place in your mind and figure out what the you want to be. Find your purpose, and then you'll find the courage to start that journey.
If you fail on Monday, the only way it's a failure on Monday is if you decide to not progress from that, right? So to me, that's why failure is not existent. Because, you know, if I fail today, okay, I'm going to learn something from that failure and I'm going to try again on Tuesday.
You have to sacrifice who you are today for who you want to become tomorrow. The Bible, there's a verse in the Bible that says, when I became a man, I put away childish things. You can't become the best version of yourself unless you're willing to neglect who you are today. The bad habits, the bad friendships, bad relationships, the bad ideas, the bad mindset. Because if you want to become a millionaire, if you want to become a person that's successful, if you want to develop a better physique, it will require sacrifice. And if you want to get to the next level, it'll cost you. There is a price to success. It hurts. Like, you've had to neglect friends. You've had to neglect certain comments from family members. You've had to work overnight for years and years, and nobody's gonna see that. Nobody, but that's the price. And you will either live the price with two aspects, because you're going to pay the price regardless of life. You will pay the price of discipline and hard work, or you will pay the price of regret. And the last thing I want to live is a life of regret. When I'm sitting on my deathbed by myself, my girl won't be there, you won't be there, it'll just be me, myself, and I will have to live and deal with the consequences and the pain of, did I pursue my fullest potential, or did I settle for average and mediocre because I wasn't able to sacrifice the current version of myself for who I was able to become?
It's funny, man. People want to know how I'm always motivated. It's the unseen work. I'm out running at 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock in the morning, in the gym, long sessions by myself. That's real.
The more time you spend alone with yourself, the more time that you will be able to understand who you are. When I mean understand who you are, I'm talking about without any outside interference, without any friends, without any peer pressure of wanting to be like someone else. The more time you spend alone, you're going to figure out, okay, what your purpose is. And I say that because of this. God will talk to you. You start seeking in those moments of not having any outside distractions. What happens is things become clear. Clarity sets in. And you're able to make decisions not based on what you saw that day or what you heard that day or what that person may have said to you. You're able to make decisions based on how you feel internally.
There's a process to all this stuff, man. The process starts with, you gotta shut off technology. You gotta go here. I call it the dark room, where you're alone. No cell phones, no music, no TVs, no computers. You by yourself. Very few people want to be alone anymore. They want to be around noise and people, and you can't think. Be alone, go to that dark space. In that dark space, shut life off for a little bit. Go to a dark place in your mind and figure out what the you want to be. You don't know what you don't want, because you don't know what you want to be because you haven't spent time, real time with yourself. Spend time with yourself. Trust me. And once you find that passion, that purpose, your goals, your purpose, everything will just start lining up. And then you'll find the courage to start that journey from that 20 to 100.
You know, it's interesting. A lot of people are afraid of being alone because they think that being alone means that you're lonely. I was walking down the streets here in London, and there was a homeless man. It said, "Hungry and lonely." And I'm like, you know, sometimes, you know, I slept in my car, but I never felt lonely. I was with myself because I developed a relationship with myself. So solitude is extremely important because most people don't create the time, the space in order to converse with themselves, in order to think, in order to get to know who they are. Know thyself. Why? Because if you know yourself, you know your tendencies, you know your habits, you know your behaviors, you know what you're good at, you're bad at, what's your weakness, what's your strength. You can develop a strategy, a plan to build yourself up. If you don't know who you are, you don't know where you're going, you're going to end up in limbo. Solitude is key because it creates the silence and the space in order for you to grow. And in the darkness, putting in the work, in the quiet hours, that's where winning is made.
That's the thing about being alone. It's not that you feel like you don't have anybody. It's like you feel like nobody has you. And man, and I know, and especially when we're young, that's so, we can't even put it into words, but we can feel that. And I remember a lot as a child feeling that way. You know, just feeling like nobody has me.
Listen, getting successful, whatever you consider successful, if it's rich, whatever, it's not a magic trick. It's not God picks certain people he'll make rich and certain people he don't. He gives all of us as his children the power of choice. You have a say-so in that. You can decide to be rich, and with God's help, it's highly doable. But you first have to think it.
I tell the same thing to anybody, no matter what your field is, if you really want it that bad, you'll make it happen. You know, if you could put aside the distractions, the Instagram, TV, some charity event that there's gonna be girls there, you're like, no, I'm gonna go to sleep early today, wake up and do what I gotta do. It just plans out over a period of time, I think.
So there will always be an obstacle. So if you're waiting on the right time, you'll never make the move. You have to go.